Hey guys, Brandy here at Gentle Grace Trying. So we've got my intro last week of who I am and why I'm here, and maybe 4 of you have watched it. It's cool, it's totally fine. This week I'm gonna talk about how we track our money, how I track what I'm in control of and the family budget that I'm in control of. So I don't like to pay for things that are unnecessary, and I don't like things that are super complicated. I needed to find a way to track our budget that was doable for me, that would keep me on mission, that didn't cost me anything, and was just simple, because when it gets too complicated, I lose track. Mint is a great app. If you're really awesome, QuickBooks, all those types of things, it just was too complicated. There's a lot that my husband controls in our general budget that is not my realm, and those types of apps didn't work for me. I needed something simple. I love Jordan Page over at Fun Cheaper Free, and she had this great thing where she took an envelope and she just kept track of things on an envelope. I'm gonna lose the envelope, or my kids are gonna grab it and run away, and then I'm not gonna know what happens. So we always have our phones with us. So I went on a little search for an app that would just be just simple. And I tried a couple of them. And the one that I landed on that was free and easy and worked for me was Fudget. Budget with an F. Fudget. The app is so simple. You put in whatever your budget is. You can add income or expense. I'll give you screenshots of it. So for example, I break my budget down weekly. So every month I have, ready, for groceries and all the miscellaneous family things, doctor's appointments, all that, $1,675. When you say it like that, it sounds like a lot of money. But as we talked before, we were constantly going over budget. And I was keeping track in Fudget of our budget in month increments. And I learned that that was a mistake. I needed to keep track of our budget week by week. So, for example, the month of October, $1,675. We go 4 weeks. I just keep it simple, 4 weeks, because sometimes there's 4.5 weeks, sometimes there's 5. I tried all over the place. I just said 4 weeks. So $1,675 divided by 4 is like $413, something like that. And that's what I have each week to spend. However, sometimes there's a known expense coming up. For example, in the month of November, we are buying firewood. That's $125. $125 chunk out of one, that's my whole grocery bill, out of 1 week is a lot. If I know it's coming up and I know it's the month of November, I'm gonna split it over those 4 weeks. So I'm gonna take my $1,675 and subtract $125 for the firewood that I know is an upcoming expense, and I'm left with $1,550. Take that $1,550 and divide it by 4. Does that make sense? So now I know, I think it came out to like $373. Now I know each week that's how much I have with the large expense that we knew that was coming up. I'm gonna do it again in December. We're gonna have our chimney swept. It's about the same amount. Subtract it from the large dollar amount and then divide by 4 for the weeks in the month. So then each week I know I have this amount of money to spend, and our budget week we decided starts on Saturday, mainly because a lot of our spending happens on the weekends. If we want to do something fun with the kids, if we want to go out for breakfast, and the rest of the week, because of school and activities, kind of is kept more on the cheap. And then I grocery shop on Tuesday. So knowing all those things, that's how I track my budget. The other thing I do, known expenses. My husband and I go on date night about every other week. So when I've scheduled it with the babysitter, I put it in the weeks in Fudget, and I'll show you that you can do multiple budgets. So I'll go to November week 2 and put $20 for a babysitter in there, November week 4 and put $20 for a babysitter in there, or whatever the week is. if I've made a doctor's appointment for my son and I know that that's gonna be $30, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna add $30 for his doctor's appointment, so that when I look at November week 2, I already have those anticipated expenses put in there and I know what I have left over. So the first week of November tends to be when we budget out for $20 for our boys, $10 each. They get $10 each for lunch money at school. They're only allowed to buy 3 times for the whole month, just as a special treat. That's an expected expense. So I add that into week 1. Knowing that, as I'm making my grocery list, as we're making our purchases, I can keep in mind what my expected expenses are. Then there's unexpected expenses, and sometimes I go over. For example, I didn't expect for my middle son to get scratched in the forehead and need stitches last week and a $30 copay at urgent care. Sometimes you're gonna go over. Sometimes you're gonna be under. So in the month of October, I actually averaged out to being within about $60 over our total budget. Considering what we had in October, one of those things being our family pictures that I hadn't done that budget for because it just sort of was sprung on me by my own bad planning, was $150. I think I did pretty good. Going $60 over is feasible. I don't want to go over at all, but that's what happened. So that's how we keep track of our budget week by week, to keep it in bite-sized, tangible things that make sense for our family. I will link to the app. I hope that that's helpful. Something that you have in your purse already, on your phone, that you can keep track of your budget and stay on track for your debt journey that hopefully you're going on too. Please subscribe if you like anything that I have to say, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.